Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'm going to give you an update on my Dendrobium Orchid here, and I'm also going to get it ready for flowering because it's almost at its flowering stage now. So since I last showed you, all the new shoots have grown up a lot more. The only one that hasn't grown is this older shoot here at the back and this other older shoot down here at the bottom. All the new shoots have put on a huge amount of growth. They've probably almost doubled in size since I last showed you them. They're just about slowing down now because it's autumn and the weather's cooling down. It's probably almost time for them to flower, so they're almost stopped growing, but they're still putting out growth. This one at the back seems to have finally topped out at its full height, as has this one here. This one here is still actually growing taller, which is quite amazing because that's even taller than the original one. And these two are still putting on quite a bit of growth as well, so these two will get quite a bit taller. The thing that's really happened since the last video is they've really put on a lot of thickness. You can see the stems here are really fat and they're really swollen. So what that is it's stored lots of energy ready and lots of water ready for the flowering season. Because it flowers in the winter time, there's not enough energy from the sunlight for it to suddenly put out loads of flowers all at once. It's getting some energy from the sun, but not enough for it to cover the whole plant in flowers. So what it does is during the growing season, it stores all that excess energy as thick succulent pseudostems, which it has up pseudobulbs, sorry, which it has up here. And the reason why they're so fleshy and full of water is because in the wild during the winter it is quite dry, so it needs the water as well. So although these have been swelling up over the season, the older bulbs here at the back were very dry and shriveled up, as were these two right down the bottom here. You can just about see that one. That was completely shriveled. But what's happened is in the last few weeks these have actually swollen up now as well, and they're completely full of water again. So what I need to do now is I need to put this in a slightly brighter location, because this is on a northwest facing window, which has been great during the summer because it's been getting quite a lot of light, but not any really harsh direct sunlight in the middle of the day. But now it's not getting any direct sunlight at all, so I need to move it to a south facing window to make sure it gets plenty of light. As we come into the winter months here in Scotland, the light levels get incredibly low, so as much light we can give it, the better. I'm also going to reduce the watering because it needs a really dry period for it to know it's winter and a cool period. So the main thing with Dendrobium orchids is for good flowering, they really need a cold period during the winter. So I'm going to move this to a colder but brighter room, and I'm going to cut back the watering, and those three factors should really encourage it to put on a good flowering display. Now what I've been doing to get it prepared for the flowering is I've been actually trying to build it up into quite a big plant. So to build it up into a bigger plant, you kind of do the opposite, which is give it lots of water, lots of warmth and lots of light. So that's really built it up big, but now I need to switch it to make it start going into the flowering phase. So the last few weeks it's really been sucking up a lot of water, and that's when all these stems have swollen up, and now they're fully swollen I can cut back on the watering. I've also been giving it a high potassium feed as well to encourage the flowering when that comes later on. But now I'm just going to cut out the feed completely and just water with plain water, but quite rarely. So the only side effect that's happened with the bad side effect that's happened with this swelling up of the stems is that there's a huge amount of weight now in the stems, and the plant is really struggling to hold itself upright. So you can see it's really starting to fall right over here. Turn it around. You can probably see it more clearly. The stems are pulling the whole plant over, and it's at risk of possibly snapping off some of its roots or just falling over completely. So I need to get it ready. So previously it had only this one cane when I bought it, and it was staked with this bamboo cane with these clips, and that has kept this one mostly upright, but I just need a slight adjustment there. And what I have is I have some more canes of my own and some string and some bonsai wire. And so I'm just going to stake these up to make sure that they don't flop over anymore. So with the bonsai wire that I have, I'm just going to gently tie it around in between where the leaves are, so it's just around the stems. And as I say, it has to be quite gentle. I don't want to wrap it around tight as it will cut into the plant, especially as some of these stems may still swell up a bit further. I don't want anything that's really going to cut into it. So there we are, that's the stems all up right now. I've made sure that they're not too close together because I do want them to still get enough light, but hopefully they're close enough together that they won't be falling over anymore. Now when the flowering does start, what I'll be doing is I'll be possibly readjusting them just slightly to make sure that I get a nice display and that none of the stems are covering up any of the other flowers which are about to come through. So the only other thing I'm going to do for this video is there's a lot of dust which is built up on these leaves because for some reason it's quite dusty in my house, and the leaves have got quite dirty. You can see here there's quite a lot of dust built up on that leaf. And I just wipe with my finger and you can really see the dust in there is quite bad. So I need to give that a good dusting now with some dusters. So all I'm going to do for that is I've got some toilet roll, some tissue from the toilet roll. I'm just going to first of all go around all the leaves, wipe them off, and then once I've wiped them off with the dry tissue, I'm going to get a damp sponge and wipe them all down with a damp sponge. The reason I'm using a sponge is because the moisture gets a little bit better than the dry rag. If I just use the moist one, it's so dirty that this will get dirty straight away and I'll have to keep rinsing it, so that's why I'm using both. And there's a little bit of soap in this sponge as well, that just helps with cleaning, but also if there's any bugs that are on there, the soap should also help to kill any of the nasty insects. So there we are, I think that's all the leaves wiped off, and as you can see they're looking a lot shinier now that they've been cleaned. That should allow a lot more light to get to the plant. Also looks a lot nicer because it doesn't look dirty anymore, it's got good shiny leaves. The extra light should help with the flowering, and also getting any dirt off the leaves will help with any oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange between the leaves. So that's all for now by Dendrobium orchids, and I'll give you an update when hopefully it starts to flower in a few months' time.